to the video. Before we begin, if not already, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. And click the bell icon to receive notifications when I upload. Comment your little heart out. And most of all, please enjoy. Now back to the video. Coming out of the 80s, we've gotten used to some very specific brands of serial killers. You had the quippy killers, relentless killers, silent killers, killers with knives, guns, axes, all violent, all over the top. Most of all, marketable and franchise-worthy. We've had real-life serial killers, but a guy with a knife just isn't as sexy as an unstoppable monster with a machete and a brand. In 1991, director Jonathan Demme adapted Thomas Harris's 1988 novel about an FBI trainee chasing a serial killer with some cooking. This is Silence of the Lambs. Clarice Starling, played by Jodie Foster, is training at the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia. Jack Crawford, played by Scott Glenn, the head honcho of the Behavioral Science Unit, calls Clarice in to help with an investigation. So do they write her a note so she can skip class? The case they want help with is a serial killer known as Buffalo Bill. And he's not called that because of a love of football. We're sending you to Baltimore to talk to Lecter. Bring wet naps. Crawford assigns Clarice to interview captured serial killer and professional cannibal Hannibal Lecter. If you can't trust the criminally insane, who can you trust?
Believe me, you don't want Hannibal Lecter inside your head.
Giggity.
The psychological insight from a deranged cannibal/former psychiatrist would surely be helpful in a criminal investigation.
You know, we get a lot of detectives here, but I must say I can't ever remember one as attractive.
Ew, that's gross!
Dr. Chilton is in charge of Lecter's fishbowl. And yeah, he's a creep. Rules. Don't get close, don't let him in your head, and never ever say, "Eat me."
I'll be watching. You'll do fine.
Clarice has to travel through a literal dungeon. Still a few years before Obamacare.
Meow?
This is the best Summer's Eve commercial ever. Is that strawberry and lavender? Summer's Eve, the fresh maker. Wait, that's Mentos. Ladies and gentlemen, Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins as Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first? Sit, please.
That is the Duomo scene from the Belvedere.
He's so eager to share his doodles.
Do you know Florence?
Never met her. The FBI has a nice eHarmony-sized survey for him. At first, he's pleasant, intelligent, and insightful. Then he gets a little too insightful.
You look like a rube.
Then downright nasty. Well, no survey for you. Meanwhile, the patient next door is busy churning butter. When Clarice walks by, he flings his butter in her face. But Clarice is lactose intolerant. Feeling generous and not so skeety, Lecter gives Clarice a lead to seek out an old patient. You smell like butter. So she checks out the storage facility where his former patient stores his head. Looks like someone forgot to feed Klaus. This man was killed by Buffalo Bill. Hey, small world, isn't it?
I'll help you catch him, Clarice.
Lecter will help Clarice if she promises to get him transferred away from Chilton. It means something when Hannibal Lecter thinks you suck. It's a deal. Let's hug on it. They better get on that. Buffalo Bill's busy breaking in his night vision goggles, which he does by stalking his next victim. This is Catherine Martin, Tom Petty fan.
She was an American girl.
Her mom is kind of a big deal. She stops to help a poor disabled man load a chair into his windowless van. Yeah, just step back in there. Mind slapping on those handcuffs? Thanks. That's what you get for trying to be helpful. Like most men, Buffalo Bill is confounded by bras. Of course, the cat does nothing. Planet Fitness is getting hardcore.
Darling!
Outside. Let's go.
To the principal's office. Ooh, she's in trouble. Clarice is pulled out of school again. She might have to make up time over summer break. Your tax dollars at work, springing for the biggest plane available. This time, another one of Bill's victims was found. Don't mind her, fellas. She's FBI and deserves our respect. Now make us 35 sandwiches. Oh, she's gonna make him pay for that later. Clarice faces some demons of her own, like a flashback to her own father's death. I win, motherfuck. Whoops. No time for that. They're here to examine a dead body. Why hold the medical exam in a Dunkin' Donuts? Clarice, again. While examining the body, they make note of the condition. Actually, Dr. Pimple Popper is worse. Her manicure is jacked. skin removed.
Wrongful death.
You don't say. And there's a bug in her mouth. Aw, thirsty little guy?
She'll be easier to print when we turn her over.
We're gonna need the big spatula. Science bug nerds tell her it's a rare moth not found in these parts. And they're taking jobs from local moths. Oh, this is Catherine's mother, a senator. Did the other victims get this much airtime? PowerPoints and slideshows? Just saying. Clarice brings Hannibal the deal of a lifetime. He will be transferred to a relatively swanky asylum if he helps save the senator's daughter. So regular people are on their own, but threaten a politician's kid, and it's heaven and earth, isn't it?
She had an object deliberately inserted into her throat.
Giggity.
Was it a butterfly?
The moth is symbolic of our killer's desire to change. If you're gonna be a monster, at least be deep. But Hannibal has his own requests. Access to Clarice's head.
Giggity.
A major no-no, but how bad could it be? She tells him about the death of her father. Hannibal isn't all bad. He could have billed Clarice $80 an hour.
Mister, my family will pay cash. Whatever ransom you're asking for, they'll pay it.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. Now it places the lotion in the basket.
I want to see my mommy.
What the lotion in the basket?
Chilton exposes the FBI's bluff. The deal Clarice brought to Hannibal was phony.
A big fat phony!
So instead, he brokers his own deal, putting himself in a desirable position of power, while providing Hannibal a tool for escape later. Hannibal has his own demands, and it's not to get into Chilton's head. He's already there, it's obvious. Hannibal wants to talk to the senator herself, away from here, if you can see where this is going. Anyone who's flown economy in the last few years will agree this is the future of air travel.
Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
When Hannibal meets the senator, he spills what he knows, or rather what he wants everyone to know, then gets a little starstruck and says all the wrong things.
Did you nurse Catherine yourself?
What?
It toughened your nipples, didn't it?
Take this thing back to Baltimore.
One more thing. Baba booey, baba booey. Everything's a game and nobody knows that they're playing, and Hannibal is the only guy with the rule book.
Oh, and Senator, just one more thing. Love your suit.
Fashion icon. Slay, girl. Clarice goes to visit Hannibal in his temporary accommodations. He's not as mad as he should be about the FBI's fake deal. He actually walks her through figuring out Bill's identity. He's giving her the pieces, but she still has to put them together. But first, more head games. This is the big underlying driving force for Clarice. After the death of her dad, she went to live with some relatives who slaughtered sheep. I'm assuming for a business and not for fun. But that traumatized her, and she tried to save one, but failed. Somebody still had lamb chops that night. Since then, she has nightmares about screaming lambs. She joined the FBI to save people from literal slaughter, much like lambs. So they will finally STF you.
Thank you, Clarice.
Tell me his name, Doctor.
He stops just short of giving Buffalo Bill's name, but Clarice should be able to figure it out from the case files. Hot. She's kicked out and sent home. Well, Clarice is done here, may as well just go. Hannibal is just getting started. Like a hobbit, he gets second dinner.
Lamb chops, extra rare.
Remember Chilton's missing pen? He's under observation by the two most clueless guards in the world. Stark contrast to the last place. You see, back home, everyone knew what he was capable of. Here, nobody seems to know him at all. They underestimate him. They handcuff him, but don't watch him. They even turn their backs on him. And that allows Hannibal to make short work of them. Look out, he's kinky! Hannibal eats the guard's face, and then he's tenderized and seasoned. He asked for lamb chops, but wound up having the pork.
Shut up! Oh, God.
Finally, I'm a beautiful butterfly.
Hannibal's loose in the building, but he leaves the other guard a mess, but alive. Maybe now they'll stop underestimating Hannibal Lecter? Okay, one more. They find him hurt in an elevator.
One in the leg.
Ow. It's not him. Hannibal is wearing the guy's face, leaving the other guy... Ugh. FBI slumber parties are so hot. Clarice goes over the case file and comes to the realization that Bill knew his first victim, Frederica Bimmel.
Hot damn, Clarice. You know her.
Clarice visits the Bimmel home and notices some dressmaking patterns look a lot like the missing skin from Bimmel's body.
Making himself a woman's suit, Mr. Crawford, out of real women.
Thank you, Mr. Gain. The feds are already on the case, thinking they already know where to find Buffalo Bill. They figured out Bill is a man named James Gum. He wanted to have a sex change but wasn't sane enough. Well, it is a big decision. Clarice is sent to finish up interviews. More like bitch work.
Okay, precious, time for a little treat. Come on, girl! Come on, take that bone. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Now you get me a telephone and lower it down here now!
Don't you hurt my dog!
Don't you make me hurt your dog!
Just give her what she wants, idiot.
The FBI moves in, but find the house empty. Classic government, never updating their records.
Good afternoon. Sorry to bother you.
So far, it's just another interview until Clarice spots one of those super rare moths. He's our guy.
Put your hands over your head!
Bill slips off to his massive basement. Why does everyone have a basement bigger than mine? Look at all this space. I mean, this is terrifying. Clarice finds Catherine, but she still has to find Buffalo Bill.
I've got to leave this room. I'll be right back. No! Don't you leave me here, you fucking bitch!
I might take my time, you ingrate. Lights out, but Bill still has the advantage, allowing him to toy with his prey. Clarice is as good as dead. But Buffalo Bill is no match for hardcore tactical training. Marco!
Polo. Oh, damn.
Well, he changed all right. Into a corpse. Buffalo Bill is dead, Catherine gets a new dog, and Clarice graduates to full agent, a hero.
Starling.
Well, Clarice.
Oh yeah, Hannibal is still at large. Nice that he keeps in touch, and he tells her that he's not going after her as long as she leaves him alone. Hannibal has plans. Dinner plans. That was Silence of the Lambs. Hannibal did return in the sequel, Hannibal. Hopkins returned, Foster did not. Silence of the Lambs is actually a sequel to the Michael Mann movie Manhunter from 1986, with Anthony Hopkins taking over Brian Cox as Hannibal. That movie was later remade as Red Dragon, with Hopkins again playing Lecter. Clarice struggles not only with Buffalo Bill and Lecter through the movie. Clarice deals with prejudice and sexism, not only as a new field agent, but as a woman. She's hit on or checked out constantly. Clarice is smart, resourceful, incredibly courageous, yet vulnerable. Her design is very human. She's not a superfed, nor is she a Mary Sue. She's a heroine worth rooting for. There will probably never be a cinematic villain like Buffalo Bill ever again. He's a composite of several real-life killers, such as Bundy, Gacy, Dahmer, and more overtly, Ed Gein. Even though he's in custody for 90% of the movie, Hannibal Lecter is the most dangerous character in the story. He doesn't need to stab you. He gets in your head where he does his best/worst. He reads you like a book and manipulates you before you realize. But he's not afraid to get his hands dirty. Every character is well performed and engaging. It has one of the finest casts in a movie I've seen yet. Direction and cinematography is crisp, it's tight. At times, the actors are speaking directly to us. We're drawn in and involved. It deserved every single Oscar it won. Even set design is brilliant. Take, for example, Lecter's imprisonment. He's in a literal dark, dank dungeon, but Lecter's cell is bright and well lit. Sure, it highlights a contrast that makes him stand out, and maybe even makes him look less menacing and more inviting. But this is because they don't trust Lecter in the dark. They want to see what he's doing at all times. We've seen what happens when he goes underestimated and unobserved. Dude's smart, remember that. Nobody can say Anthony Hopkins didn't blow the roof off with his performance, with a total of about 15 minutes of screen time. Remorseless, brutal, and sadistic, but I bet that man can cook. Being so grounded in reality, especially by utilizing real-world elements, this feels like it can really happen because parts of it actually have. The movie bounces from place to place, it keeps the story moving. The night vision scene is still one of the most heart-stopping moments in cinema. The resolution is satisfying, even with Lecter still on the loose. It leaves the door open for more cooking with Hannibal. Silence of the Lambs is 5 Bs. Strong performances, a relentless tone that grabs you from the beginning, suspense you can cut a steak with, okay, enough food puns, and a very effectively complicated villain. Pair it with a nice Chianti. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, the bell, you know, the usual YouTube stuff. This is theNewBee, and I'll see you later, kids. Toodles!